Welcome to ZenLight 8, where we dive deep into the art of mastering your mind and protecting your peace. Imagine this. A betrayal so sharp it cuts deeper than any knife, leaving scars that linger far beyond the moment. On this channel, we're not just talking about life's challenges. We're breaking down the toughest lessons through the lens of Stoic wisdom. Today, we're uncovering 3 betrayals so severe they don't deserve your forgiveness. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Disloyalty, deception, and broken trust. These aren't just mistakes. They're choices that reveal who people really are. Stick around as we explore why walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. Hit that like button, drop your thoughts below, and subscribe to ZenLight 8 to level up your emotional resilience. Let's get started. 1. Betrayal and the value of trust. A wound that cuts deeper than flesh. Betrayal is not just a word, it's a dagger. It slices through the fabric of your life with a precision that no physical wound could ever match, leaving behind scars that don't fade with time. These aren't the kind of scars you can see in a mirror. They're the ones etched into your soul, reshaping how you view the world, how you connect with others, and, most critically, how you see yourself. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, where inner peace and self-respect stand as unshakable pillars, trust isn't just a luxury. It's the bedrock of every meaningful relationship. And when that trust is shattered by betrayal, some acts are so egregious, so deliberate, that forgiveness isn't an option. Not because we cling to bitterness, but because letting them slide would mean betraying ourselves. Picture this. Someone you've let into your inner world. Someone you've trusted with your fears, your dreams, your rawest vulnerabilities, turns that trust into a weapon. They don't just hurt you. They unravel the very foundation of what you thought was real. The Stoics, those ancient masters of emotional resilience, understood this deeply. They didn't sugarcoat human nature. They didn't pretend that everyone around you would act with honor. Instead, they taught us to face reality head-on, to see people for who they are, not who we wish them to be. And when betrayal strikes, it's not just an attack on your emotions. It's a violation of the principles that hold your life together. Trust, integrity, dignity. These aren't abstract ideals. They're the glue that binds us to others in a way that makes life worth living. But let's be clear, not every betrayal is equal. A forgotten promise or a careless word. These are human flaws we can overlook, moments where grace can mend what's broken. What we're talking about here is something darker, something intentional. The kind of betrayal that doesn't just sting, it shatters. It's the friend who sells your secrets for their own gain, the partner who vows loyalty only to break it in the shadows, the family member who chooses greed over blood. These aren't accidents. They're choices. And when someone makes that choice, they're not just crossing a line. They're torching the bridge that connects you to them, leaving nothing but ashes in their wake. Why does this hurt so much? Because trust is sacred. It's not handed out lightly. When you trust someone, you're giving them a piece of yourself, a fragile, unguarded piece that you don't show to just anyone. You're saying, I believe in you. I believe you'll honor this. And when they betray that belief, it's not just a personal slight. It's an existential rupture. Suddenly, the world feels less certain. Doubt creeps in where certainty once stood. You start to question everything. Were they ever who I thought they were? Can I trust anyone again? Can I even trust myself to judge who's worthy? That's the real damage of betrayal. It doesn't just break a bond. It fractures your sense of reality. The Stoics had a way of cutting through this chaos. They didn't waste time wallowing in the wreckage. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic emperors, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What he's telling us is simple but profound. You can't control the betrayer, but you can control what happens next. You can't undo the knife they plunged into your back, but you can decide whether to let it stay there, bleeding you dry, or pull it out and walk away stronger. Betrayal hurts because it's personal, but the Stoic response isn't about revenge or despair. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that some wounds are too deep to heal with a handshake and a forced smile. Let's dig deeper into why trust matters so much. In a world full of chaos, where people lie, schemes unravel, and loyalties shift like sand, Trust is your anchor. It's what lets you sleep at night knowing the people closest to you have your back. It's what lets you build something real, whether it's a friendship, a romance, or a family. Without trust, every interaction becomes a gamble, every relationship a house of cards waiting to collapse. The Stoics saw this clearly. They knew that a life without trust was a life without peace. Seneca, another Stoic heavyweight, said, "He who lives without trust lives in fear." And he was right. When you can't rely on the people around you, you're left scanning the horizon for the next blow, always on edge, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So what happens when that trust is betrayed? The immediate pain is obvious, the shock, the anger, the disbelief. But the real cost comes later. It's in the way you hesitate before opening up again. It's in the walls you build, the armor you wear, the cynicism that starts to color your view of the world. Betrayal doesn't just wound you once. It keeps wounding you every time you think about letting someone new in. And that's why some betrayals can't be forgiven. Not because you're petty, but because they threaten the very core of who you are. To forgive someone who's shown they'll stab you in the back isn't noble. It's naive. It's handing them the knife again and saying, "Try harder next time." This isn't about holding grudges. The Stoics weren't about that. They didn't sit around nursing their anger or plotting revenge. They were practical. They asked, "What serves my peace? What protects my dignity?" And the answer, when it comes to betrayal, is often distance, not drama. When someone betrays you, they've already told you who they are. Maya Angelou famously said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." The Stoics would have nodded in agreement. Why waste energy trying to rewrite their character? Why exhaust yourself pretending the wound doesn't exist? Acceptance isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's seeing the truth and acting on it. Think about the worst betrayal you've ever faced. Maybe it was a friend who turned on you when you needed them most. Maybe it was a lover who promised forever, then walked away without a word. Maybe it was a family member who traded your trust for their own gain. Whatever it was, you know the feeling, that gut punch of realization, that moment when the mask falls and you see the real face underneath. It's not just the act that hurts. It's the intent behind it. The knowledge that they chose to do this. That they weighed your trust against their selfish desires and decided your trust was disposable. That's the kind of betrayal the Stoics wouldn't forgive. Not because they lacked compassion, but because they valued themselves too much to let it slide. And here's where Stoicism gets radical. It's not about the other person at all. It's about you. Betrayal tests your principles. It forces you to decide what you stand for. Will you cling to a hollow relationship out of fear of being alone? Will you forgive just to keep the peace, even if it means swallowing your self-respect? Or will you stand tall, accept the pain, and walk away with your head high? The Stoics chose the latter every time. They knew that peace isn't found in toxic connections. It's found in solitude, in strength, in knowing your worth. Epictetus, another Stoic giant, said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." He wasn't being bleak, he was being real. People will fail you. Betrayal is inevitable. But your response? That's yours to control. Let's talk about the scars for a moment. Because that's what betrayal leaves behind. Not just pain, but lessons. Every scar tells a story. It's a reminder of what you've survived. A marker of where you've been. The Stoics didn't shy away from this. They embraced it. They saw every wound as a chance to grow wiser, tougher, more discerning. When someone betrays you, they hand you a brutal gift. The truth. The truth about them, yes, but also the truth about yourself. How strong are you? How much do you value your peace? How far will you go to protect it? Betrayal strips away the illusions and leaves you with raw, unfiltered reality. And in that reality, you find the strength to move forward, not as a victim, but as a warrior. But what about forgiveness? Isn't that the higher road? The Stoics would say it depends. Forgiveness is a virtue when it frees you, when it lets you release the anger and reclaim your calm. But when it comes at the cost of your dignity, when it means inviting the betrayer back into your life to hurt you again, it's not forgiveness, it's surrender. There's a difference between letting go of the pain and letting go of your standards. The Stoics mastered that balance. They didn't forgive to prove a point. They forgave when it served their soul. And when it didn't, they walked away. No apologies, no second chances, no regrets. Take a step back and look at your own life. Who's betrayed you? Who's taken your trust and thrown it in the dirt? Now ask yourself, why are they still here? Why are you still giving them space in your mind, your heart, your world? The Stoics would tell you to stop. They'd tell you that your peace is worth more than their excuses, that your self-respect is worth more than their tears, that your life is too precious to waste on people who've already shown they don't deserve you. Betrayal isn't just a wound. It's a wake-up call. It's the universe screaming at you to pay attention, to tighten your circle, to guard your trust like the treasure it is. So where does this leave us? With a choice. When betrayal strikes, and you can let it define you or you can let it refine you. You can drown in the hurt or you can rise above it. The Stoics chose the latter, and they left us a roadmap to do the same. Trust is sacred, but it's not infinite. When someone betrays it, they don't just break a promise, they break a bond. And some bonds, once broken, aren't worth rebuilding. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise. Not because you're cruel, but because you're strong. Betrayal cuts deep, but it doesn't have to cut forever. Pull out the knife, heal the wound, and walk away with the only thing that matters, yourself. 2. 3 betrayals that demand no forgiveness. The Stoic path to self-preservation. Betrayal isn't a fleeting sting, it's a seismic rupture. It shakes the ground beneath your feet, leaving you to pick up the pieces of what you once believed was solid. In the Stoic philosophy, where inner peace is the ultimate prize and self-respect the ultimate shield, some betrayals cut too deep to mend. These aren't petty slights or forgivable missteps. They're deliberate acts that spit on the principles of trust, loyalty, and dignity. Principles that hold your life together. Today, we're diving into 3 of the most severe betrayals you'll ever face. Disloyalty, deception, and broken trust. These aren't just wounds. They're revelations. They show you who people really are, and they demand a response, not revenge but resolve. If you want to stand unshaken in a world full of shifting loyalties, this is a lesson you can't ignore. Let's break them down one by one and see why the Stoic way is to walk away, not look back. 2.1 Disloyalty, the ultimate violation of trust. Loyalty isn't a bonus. It's the backbone of every relationship worth having. Without it, there's no trust, no safety, no foundation. When someone betrays you through disloyalty, they're not just slipping up. They're making a calculated choice to put themselves first, to trample your faith in them for their own gain. Think about it. The friend who whispers poison about you the moment your back is turned. The partner who vows fidelity only to sneak around in the dark. The family member who trades your bond for a quick buck. This isn't a mistake. It's a declaration. It's them saying loud and clear, "My needs outweigh your trust." And in that moment, they've shown you their true colors, colors you can't unsee. The Stoics didn't mess around with this. They saw loyalty as a reflection of character, a non-negotiable pillar of human connection. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." What he meant was this: don't stoop to their level. Don't waste your breath cursing them or plotting payback. Instead, rise above. Accept the reality of their disloyalty, cut the cord, and move on. It's not about holding a grudge. It's about honoring yourself. When someone proves they can't be trusted, they've lost their place in your life. Period. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you've poured years into a friendship. You've been there through their darkest days, listened to their tears, carried their burdens, kept their secrets. Then one day, you hear it. They've been trashing you behind your back, laughing at your vulnerabilities with people who don't even know you. Or picture a partner who swore they'd stand by you, only for you to find out they've been living a double life. Their promises as hollow as their heart. The sting isn't just in the act, it's in the intent. They chose this. They weighed your trust and decided it wasn't worth keeping. That's disloyalty in its rawest form, and it's a betrayal that echoes beyond the moment. Why does this hit so hard? because loyalty is what lets you lower your guard. It's the unspoken pact that says, "I've got you, no matter what." When that pact is broken, the fallout isn't just emotional, it's existential. You start doubting everything. Were they ever real? Was it all a lie? Can anyone be trusted? The Stoics had an answer. Don't dwell on the why. Don't waste energy dissecting their motives or begging for explanations. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The pain of disloyalty isn't in what they did. It's in what you let it do to you. So stop. Accept it. They're disloyal. That's who they are. Now what? The Stoic response is surgical. Detach and depart. You don't negotiate with someone who's already shown they'll sell you out. You don't give second chances to a pattern, because disloyalty isn't a one-off. It's a habit. They'll cry. They'll apologize. They'll blame the stars or their moment of weakness. But here's the truth. A weak moment doesn't make you betray someone you value. A choice does. And once that choice is made, the damage is done. Forgiving disloyalty doesn't fix it. It invites it back. It tells them, "Go ahead, do it again. I'll still be here." That's not strength. That's self-sabotage. Think about the cost of keeping a disloyal person around. Every conversation becomes a minefield. Every promise they make rings hollow. You're stuck second-guessing their every move, wondering when the next blow will land. That's not a relationship, that's a prison. The Stoics knew this. They valued peace over pretense. Epictetus put it bluntly, "You become what you give your attention to." If you give your attention to someone who's proven they don't deserve it, you're not just wasting time, you're eroding yourself. The strongest move isn't to fight for them, it's to walk away from them. Let them live with their choices. You've got better things to build. 2.2 Deception. The poison that erodes everything. If disloyalty is a dagger, deception is a slow-acting venom. It doesn't just strike, it seeps. Lies aren't mere words. They're weapons designed to twist reality, to destabilize your footing, to make you question what's true. When someone deceives you, they're not just hiding something, they're manipulating you. They're crafting a version of the world that serves them, and they're betting you won't notice. That's not a slip of the tongue or a white lie to spare your feelings. That's a betrayal with teeth. One that gnaws at the trust you've built and leaves nothing but rubble in its wake. The Stoics saw truth as sacred. Without it, there's no clarity, no stability, no peace. A relationship rooted in deception is a mirage. It looks real until you reach for it, and then it vanishes. Seneca nailed it when he said, "A dishonest man spreads falsehoods first to others, then to himself." The liar doesn't just hurt you, they trap themselves in their own web. But here's the kicker. Their self-inflicted mess doesn't mean you have to stick around to clean it up. When someone lies to you, whether it's a blatant fabrication, a sly omission, or a twisted half-truth, they're showing you they don't respect you. And respect, that's non-negotiable. Picture this. You've trusted someone with your heart. You've shared your fears, your plans, your unguarded self. Then you catch them in a lie, not a small one, but a big, ugly one. Maybe they've been hiding an affair, faking their intentions, or covering up something that changes everything. The lie itself is bad enough, but the real betrayal is what it reveals. They chose to control the narrative over honoring your trust. They decided you didn't deserve the truth. That's not just dishonesty, that's power play. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Why does deception cut so deep? Because it's personal. A lie isn't an accident. It's a decision. It's them looking you in the eye and saying, "I'll take your reality and bend it to suit me." It's them betting they can outsmart you, that you'll swallow the story and keep playing along. And when the truth comes out, as it always does, the damage isn't just in the revelation. It's in the retroactive rot. Every memory gets tainted. Every "I love you" or "I'm here for you" becomes suspect. You're left wondering, what else was a lie? How long have they been playing me? That's the poison of deception. It doesn't just break trust. It rewrites your past. The Stoic way is clear. Don't tolerate it. Don't waste your energy trying to unravel their motives or fix their dishonesty. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." A liar isn't interested in truth, they're interested in winning. They believe they're above accountability, and that makes them dangerous. You can't change them. You can't force honesty out of someone who's chosen deceit. But you can change your response. You can see the lie for what it is, a betrayal of your worth, and walk away. Some will argue that everyone lies, that deception is just human nature. They'll say, it's not a big deal, or they didn't mean it. But the Stoics didn't buy that. A lie that shatters trust isn't harmless. It's a wrecking ball. It's not just human. It's a choice to prioritize self over integrity. And when that choice is made, it's on them, not you. Forgiving deception doesn't heal the wound. It hands them a free pass to lie again. Says, my trust is cheap. My peace doesn't matter. That's not virtue, that's surrender. The Stoic response is detachment. Accept the reality, cut the tie, and protect your clarity. Liars don't deserve your time. They've already stolen enough of it. 2.3 Broken trust. The irreparable fracture. Trust is the heartbeat of every bond worth keeping. It's not just about words, it's about reliability, consistency, vulnerability. When you trust someone, you're letting them hold something precious, your faith in them. And when they break that trust, whether through disloyalty, deception, or outright harm, they don't just crack the surface. They shatter the core. Once trust is gone, it's not a simple fix. It's not a matter of glue and good intentions. It's a mirror smashed to pieces. Sure, you can patch it up, but the reflection will never be whole again. The Stoics got this. They didn't romanticize human nature. They knew people would fail, that selfishness would rear its head, that betrayal was part of the deal. Marcus Aurelius wrote, when someone wrongs you, ask yourself, what can I do about it? His answer wasn't fix them or forgive them. It was protect yourself. Broken trust isn't a challenge to overcome. It's a signal to retreat. When someone shows you they're capable of betraying you, they've handed you the truth on a platter. The question is, what will you do with it? Imagine this. You've built a life with someone. Years of shared moments, late-night talks, promises carved in stone. Then they break your trust. Maybe they cheat. Maybe they lie. Maybe they hurt you in a way you never saw coming. The act itself is brutal, but the aftermath is worse. You try to move forward, but the cracks are there. Every word they say feels flimsy. Every gesture feels forced. You want to believe them, but deep down you don't. That's the curse of broken trust. It doesn't just end the past. It poisons the future. Why is this so final? Because trust isn't a light switch. You don't flip it back on with an apology or a tearful plea. It's a slow burn, built over time, and when it's gone, it's gone. The Stoics understood this irreversibility. Seneca said, he who spares the guilty punishes the innocent. If you forgive someone who's broken your trust, you're not just risking more pain, you're punishing yourself. You're signing up for a life of doubt, of second-guessing, of waiting for the next betrayal. That's not living, that's surviving. People will push you to forgive. They'll say, they're sorry, or give them a chance. But here's the Stoic truth. Regret doesn't undo damage. Promises don't rebuild what's lost. Once someone breaks your trust, they've shown you their limit, and it's lower than you deserve. You can't unknow that. You can't unfeel the weight of it. And pretending otherwise, that's self-betrayal. The Stoic response isn't anger or vengeance. It's dignity. It's walking away with your head high, knowing your peace is worth more than their excuses. Think about the alternative. Keeping them around. You'll spend your days on edge, analyzing their every move, wondering if they'll do it again. That's not a relationship, that's a sentence. The Stoics didn't waste time on broken things. They built anew. They chose solitude over chaos, strength over sentiment. Broken trust isn't a test of your forgiveness. It's a test of your self-respect. Pass it by letting go. Not for them, but for you. Closing the circle, the Stoics stand. Disloyalty, deception, broken trust. These aren't just betrayals. They're battle lines. They mark the point where you decide who stays in your life and who doesn't. The Stoics didn't flinch from this. They saw betrayal as a teacher, a harsh but necessary guide to wisdom. Each wound shows you what to value. your peace, your dignity, your unshakable core. Forgiveness has its place, but not here, not when the cost is your soul. Walk away, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Not with weakness, but with power. The strongest move isn't to fight, it's to rise. 3. Lessons from Stoicism, wisdom for a resilient life. Life isn't fair. People aren't perfect. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll find peace. The Stoics, those ancient architects of emotional strength, didn't just survive a chaotic world. They thrived in it. They didn't waste time wishing for a softer reality. They built a framework to face it head-on. From their teachings, 3 lessons stand out as unshakable truths: accepting human nature and reality as they are, not as we want them to be; protecting your inner peace by cutting out the unworthy; and understanding that forgiveness is a virtue, but never at the expense of your worth. Indifference and moving forward are the ultimate revenge. These aren't just ideas, they're tools. Tools to navigate betrayal, to shield your soul, to rise above the mess. Let's break them down and see how they can transform you. 3.1 Accepting human nature and reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. The world doesn't bend to your dreams. People don't always act with honor. And that's not a flaw, it's a fact. The Stoics didn't flinch from this. They stared it down. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire while wrestling with his own mortality, wrote, "Begin each day by telling yourself, 'Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness.'" He wasn't being cynical, he was being real. He knew that expecting perfection from others was a recipe for misery. Instead, he chose acceptance, not as defeat but as power. What does this mean for you? It means letting go of the fantasy that everyone will treat you right. It means seeing people for who they are, not who you hope they'll become. That friend who flakes when you need them most? That's them. That lover who lies to your face? That's them too. The Stoics didn't waste energy raging against these truths. They didn't beg the disloyal to change or the deceitful to confess. They accepted it. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." You can't control others' actions, but you can control how you respond. Think about the last time someone let you down. Maybe they promised to be there and didn't show. Maybe they betrayed a confidence you thought was sacred. Your first instinct might have been shock. How could they? Followed by a desperate wish. If only they'd see it my way. That's where the pain festers, in the gap between what is and what you want. The Stoics closed that gap. They taught us to stop fighting reality and start working with it. Someone's selfish? Fine. Someone's unreliable? Noted. It's not your job to fix them. It's your job to see them clearly and act accordingly. This isn't easy. Acceptance feels like surrender at first. You want to scream, to demand justice, to rewrite the story. But here's the Stoic twist. Acceptance isn't passive. It's active. It's a choice to face the truth without blinking, to strip away the illusions and stand firm in what's real. When you accept that people will fail you, you're not a victim anymore. You're a strategist. You're free to move forward, unburdened by false hopes. Reality isn't your enemy. Denial is. The Stoics knew this, and they turned it into strength. 3.2 Protecting your inner peace by removing the unworthy from your life. Your peace is your fortress. Guard it fiercely. The Stoics didn't mess around when it came to who they let in. They understood that your inner calm, your most precious asset, could be shattered by the wrong people. Seneca, a man who navigated treachery and exile, wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." The flip side, if someone drags you down, if they poison your tranquility with their disloyalty or deceit, they don't belong in your world. Cut them out, not with malice but with purpose. This is where Stoicism gets practical. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic confrontations. It's about boundaries. Picture this. You've got a friend who's all smiles to your face but knives you in the back. Or a partner who lies so smoothly you almost believe them. Keeping them around isn't noble. It's reckless. Every moment you spend with them is a moment you're handing over your peace, letting them chip away at your calm. The Stoics didn't play that game. They knew that toxic people don't just hurt you once. They keep hurting you, draining your energy, clouding your mind. Why do we hesitate to let go? Fear, habit, the sunk cost of time and emotion. You think, we've been through so much, or maybe they'll change. But here's the Stoic truth. History doesn't earn someone a free pass to wound you. And change? That's on them, not you. Epictetus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." You can't force someone to be loyal or honest, but you can decide they're not worth your time. Walking away isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing yourself over chaos. Let's get real. Think of someone in your life who's unworthy. Maybe they've betrayed you once, twice, a dozen times. You've forgiven them, patched things up, told yourself it's fine. But it's not fine. You feel it. The tension, the unease, the quiet dread of what they'll do next. That's your peace slipping away. The Stoics would tell you to stop. Stop justifying their presence. Stop sacrificing your calm for their comfort. Remove them. Not with a fight, not with a speech, just with silence. They've shown you who they are. Now show yourself what you're worth. This isn't about isolation. The Stoics weren't hermits. They valued connection, but only with those who lifted them up. Your inner circle should be a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Protecting your peace means being ruthless about who gets access. The unworthy don't just take your time, they take your strength. Cut them loose, and you'll feel the weight lift. That's the Stoic way. Clarity over clutter, peace over people-pleasing. 3.3 Forgiveness is a virtue, but not at the cost of your worth. Indifference and moving on are the best revenge. Forgiveness sounds noble. It's preached from pulpits, plastered on quotes, held up as the gold standard of goodness. But the Stoics saw through the hype. They didn't buy into blind forgiveness. Forgiveness that costs you your dignity, that leaves you open to more pain. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." He didn't mean hug it out, he meant rise above it. Let go of the anger, sure, but don't let go of your standards. Sometimes the strongest move isn't forgiveness, it's indifference. Just walking away and never looking back. Let's break this down. Someone betrays you, say, a friend who stabs you in the back or a lover who shatters your trust. They come crawling back, tears in their eyes, apologies on their lips. Society says forgive. Your heart might even waver, but the Stoics ask, at what cost? If forgiving them means lowering your worth, inviting them to hurt you again, it's not a virtue, it's a trap. Seneca put it sharply, "He who spares the guilty punishes the innocent." By letting them off the hook, you're not just risking future betrayal, you're betraying yourself right now. Forgiveness has its place. If someone's mistake was small, unintentional, and they own it, letting go can free you both. But when the betrayal is deliberate, disloyalty, deception, a calculated blow, that's different. That's not a slip. That's a statement. Forgiving that doesn't heal you. It weakens you. It says your trust is disposable, your peace negotiable. The Stoics didn't roll that way. They forgave when it served their soul, not when it served the betrayer's ego. So what's the alternative? Indifference. Not the petty kind, the Stoic kind. It's not about snubbing them or plotting their downfall. It's about detaching. It's saying, you don't matter enough to disturb me. That's the revenge Marcus Aurelius talked about. Not sinking to their level, but soaring above it. You don't need their apology. You don't need their regret. You need your peace, and you get it by moving on. They lose their power over you the moment you stop caring. Picture this. Your betrayer expects a reaction. Anger, tears, a plea for answers. Instead, you give them nothing. You walk away, head high, life intact. That's not just strength, that's mastery. The Stoics knew that true victory isn't in winning them back. It's in reclaiming yourself. Indifference stings them more than any outburst ever could, because it shows they're irrelevant. And moving on, that's your triumph. You build a life where they don't fit, where their betrayal is just a footnote. This takes guts. It's easier to cling, to fight, to forgive out of habit. But the Stoic path is harder and higher. It's choosing your worth over their words. It's letting go without losing yourself. Forgiveness might be a virtue, but self-respect is a necessity. When the two clash, the Stoics pick the latter every time, and so should you. Tying it together, the Stoic blueprint. These lessons, acceptance, protection, indifference, aren't abstract. They're a lifeline. The Stoics didn't just theorize. They lived this. They faced betrayal, loss, and chaos and came out stronger. Accept reality, and you'll stop breaking your heart over what can't be changed. Protect your peace, and you'll stop bleeding for those who don't deserve you. Embrace indifference, and you'll stop giving power to the past. This is how you rise, not with noise, but with quiet, unshakable resolve. 4. Practical actions, building emotional resilience the Stoic way. Words are powerful, but action is where transformation begins. The Stoics didn't just sit around pondering life's hardships. They lived their philosophy, turning wisdom into tangible steps. If you want to build unshakable emotional resilience, it's not enough to think about it, you have to do it. This means setting clear boundaries, valuing your own worth above all else, and refusing to cling to toxic relationships that drain your spirit. These aren't abstract ideals. They're practical moves to protect your peace and reclaim your strength. And here's the call to arms. If this resonates, hit that like button, share your story in the comments, and subscribe to keep fueling your journey of self-mastery. Let's dive into how you can make this real right now. 4.1 Setting clear boundaries, your first line of defense. Boundaries aren't walls, they're shields. They're how you tell the world what you'll accept and what you won't. Without them, you're a doormat, letting anyone walk over you with their disloyalty, their lies, their chaos. The Stoics knew this instinctively. They didn't waste time pleasing everyone. They focused on what served their peace. Epictetus, a man who rose from slavery to wisdom, said, "No person is free who is not master of himself." That mastery starts with boundaries. If you don't set them, others will set them for you, and they won't be in your favor. What does this look like in practice? It's saying no when you mean it, not bending just to keep the peace. It's telling that friend who always flakes, "I'm done chasing you." It's warning that partner who lies, "One more time, and I'm gone." Boundaries aren't about being harsh. They're about being honest. They're you declaring, "My time, my energy, my trust. These are mine to give, not yours to take." The Stoics didn't negotiate with people who crossed lines. They drew them in stone and stood firm. Let's get real. Think of someone who's been pushing your limits. Maybe they guilt-trip you into doing things you hate, or they keep betraying your trust with zero remorse. You've let it slide out of habit, out of hope, out of fear. But every time you do, you lose a piece of yourself. That's where boundaries come in. Start small if you have to. "I'm not available for this anymore." Or go big. "You don't get to treat me like this and stay in my life." It's not easy. People don't like losing their free pass to hurt you. They'll push back, call you cold, beg for leniency. But here's the Stoic truth. Your peace isn't up for debate. Set the line. Hold it. Watch how fast the unworthy scatter. This takes courage. Setting boundaries means facing conflict, risking loss, standing alone if you have to. But the payoff? Freedom. You stop being a pawn in someone else's game. You start living on your terms. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Boundaries are that power in action. They're how you build resilience, not by avoiding pain, but by controlling who gets to inflict it. So draw your lines today. Make them clear. Make them yours. That's step 1 to an unshakable soul. 4.2 Valuing your own worth, the core of strength. If you don't know your worth, no one else will. The Stoics didn't mess around with self-doubt. They saw it as a thief, stealing your peace and handing it to those who don't deserve it. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Half the battle of emotional resilience is in your head. Stop imagining you're less than you are. You're not here to beg for respect or scrape for validation. You're here to claim it. Valuing yourself isn't arrogance, it's survival. What does this mean in real life? It's looking at the people who hurt you and asking, Why am I still here? It's refusing to let their betrayal define you. Picture this. Someone stabbed you in the back. Disloyalty, lies, whatever it is. Your first thought might be, what's wrong with me? Wrong question. The Stoics flipped it. What's wrong with them? You're not the flaw in this equation, they are. Valuing your worth means seeing that truth and acting on it. You don't stick around to fix their mess. You walk away to protect your own light. Let's make it personal. Think of a time you let someone devalue you. Maybe you forgave too fast, stayed too long, took the blame for their garbage. You told yourself, I can handle it, or they need me. But here's the Stoic wake-up call. You're not a punching bag. You're not a savior. You're a person with limits, with dignity, with a right to peace. Valuing yourself means owning that. It's saying, I deserve better than this, and meaning it, not as a wish but as a fact. The moment you do, everything shifts. You stop chasing approval. You stop settling for scraps. You start demanding what's yours. This isn't about ego, it's about clarity. The Stoics didn't strut around boasting. They quietly knew their value and lived it. When someone betrays you, they're not just breaking trust, they're testing your self-respect. Pass the test. Don't grovel for their apology or cling to their crumbs. Stand up. Walk out. You're worth more than their excuses, more than their half-hearted sorry. Emotional resilience grows when you stop doubting that. So value yourself today. Not tomorrow, not when they prove it now. That's your armor. That's your strength. For point 3, letting go of toxic relationships. The ultimate liberation. Toxic people don't just hurt you, they haunt you. They linger in your mind, your heart, your energy, long after the damage is done. The Stoics saw this for what it was. A choice. You don't have to keep them around. You don't have to nurse the wound they left. Epictetus said, you become what you give your attention to. Give it to poison and you'll rot. Give it to peace and you'll rise. Letting go of toxic relationships isn't a loss. It's a victory. It's you saying, I'm done bleeding for you. What's a toxic relationship? It's the friend who thrives on drama, always dragging you into their chaos. It's the partner who lies, cheats, or chips away at your confidence. It's the family member who guilts you into silence while they wield their selfishness like a club. These aren't people who mean well. They're people who take more than they give, who leave you emptier than they found you. The Stoics didn't waste time reforming them. They walked away, not with fanfare but with finality. Here's how you do it. Step 1. See them clearly. Strip away the excuses. They've had it rough. We go way back. Look at what they do, not what they say. Step 2. Feel the cost. How much have they taken? Your time, your trust, your calm. Step 3. Act. Cut the tie. Block the number. Close the door. It doesn't need to be a showdown, just a decision. The Stoics didn't linger. Seneca wrote, life is long if you know how to use it. Don't use it on people who've already shown they'll waste it. This hurts. Letting go feels like ripping out a piece of yourself, especially if the bond was deep. You'll second-guess it, miss them, wonder if you're too harsh. But here's the Stoic lens. Every day you keep them is a day you're choosing pain over peace. Toxic relationships don't heal with time, they fester. The longer you hold on, the harder it gets to break free. So do it now. Rip the bandage off. The sting fades, but the freedom lasts. You're not abandoning them, you're saving yourself. Think of your life as a garden. Toxic people are weeds, pretty on the surface maybe, but choking everything else. Pull them out, roots and all. What's left? Space. Space for growth, for calm, for people who don't make you question your worth. That's resilience in action, not enduring the bad, but embracing the good. The Stoics knew this. They pruned their lives with precision, and so can you. 4.4 The call to action. Join the journey. This isn't just a lesson. It's a movement. Building emotional resilience isn't a solo gig. It's a path we walk together. If this hits home, take a second to like this content. It's a signal you're in. Drop your story in the comments. What boundaries are you setting? How are you valuing yourself? Who are you letting go? Your words don't just share, they inspire. and subscribe. Stay on this ride with us. Every step you take, every toxic tie you cut, brings you closer to the Stoic ideal, a life of peace, strength, and unshakable self-mastery. Let's keep pushing. Together. Here's the final truth. Life will test you, people will fail you, but you can rise above it all. The Stoic path isn't about avoiding the storm. It's about standing tall in its center, unshaken, unbroken. Set your boundaries, claim your worth, let go of the toxins. Those are your weapons. Wield them. Betrayal doesn't define you, your response does. So take these lessons, make them yours, and build a life where peace isn't a hope. It's a promise. The strongest revenge isn't anger, it's indifference. The greatest victory isn't winning them back. It's walking away stronger. Start now. Your future self is waiting. To every one of you watching on ZenLight 8, thank you. You're not just viewers. You're warriors on this journey of self-mastery. Your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, they fuel this movement. Every story you share, every step you take, lights the way for someone else. This isn't just a channel. It's a community of strength, wisdom, and growth. Keep engaging, keep pushing, keep rising. Hit that like button if this spoke to you. Drop your thoughts below. I read everyone, and subscribe to stay with us. Together, we're building something unstoppable. Thank you for being here. Let's keep moving forward. Stronger, wiser, together.